We are the Big Five.
Hello everyone, this is the Big Five's video reflection on analyzing the marketing environment. This is chapter 3 in Principles of Marketing and is divided into 5 learning objectives as shown on the screen. First, we have the microenvironment and macroenvironment. We'll describe the environmental forces that affects the company's ability to serve its customers. Next, we have the demographic and economic environments. We'll explain how changes in demographic and economic environments affect marketing decisions. Then we have the natural and technological environments, in which we'll identify the major trends in the firm's natural and technological environments. The fourth objective is the political, social, and cultural environments. We'll explain the key changes in the political and cultural environments. And finally, responding to market environment. We'll discuss how companies can react to the market environment.
Microenvironment and macroenvironment are two types of marketing environment. Marketing environment can be understood as factors and forces from outside that affect marketing management's ability to build and maintain a successful relationships with target customers. So, what are the differences between those two types of environment? First, the microenvironment is defined as factors close to the company that affect its ability to serve its customers. And micro is the suffix that means small. As you can see in this figure 3.1, there are 6 factors that compose the micro environment. I will take the most famous beverage company, Coca-Cola, and its environment to clarify for what I've just said. First, is its microenvironment. In this generation, customers pay more attention to the health, and that's why Coca-Cola introduced zero sugar Coke. And they also need to compete with their competitors, for example, brands like Pepsi. And for the public, more specifically, media is also an element that affects their marketing. On the other hand, there is macro environment. So the suffix macro means big, broad. So as you can guess, microenvironment refers to a larger social forces, and there are 6 forces making up the microenvironment, which are demographic forces, economic forces, natural forces, technological forces, political forces, and cultural forces. And macroenvironment affects microenvironment and shapes the opportunity and poses threats to the company. So in broader term, microenvironment, more specifically cultural factor, also affects the brand. In 2001, Coca-Cola recognized that to compete with traditional refreshments in India, including lemonade, coconut water, fruit juice, tea, and lassis, competitive pricing was essential. So in response, the Coke launched a smaller bottle priced at almost 50% of the traditional package. And economics also need to be considered. Like different countries will have different rates of tax and labor cost, etc.
Demography is the study of the human population, so naturally, the demographic environment has everything to do with people. It has become the one keyword that marketers keep a close eye on because the world's large and diverse population poses both opportunities and threats to the worldwide businesses. The most important demographic trends include the changing age and family structures, geographic population shifts, educational characteristics, and population diversity. Let's first talk about the age structure and more specifically, generational groups. We are no longer strangers to phrases like baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. However, do you know marketers' approaches and concerns when it comes to generational marketing? One concern is that whenever marketers craft a product that appeals to a generation, it might turn off another. A second concern is the variation in age and socioeconomic levels, even in just one age group, and so marketers need to form age-specific segments within each group. Marketers should also note that age segmentation isn't a definite method in identifying the values customers actually seek, and a glance into the people's lifestyle might prove to be more effective. Just as the age trend is continuously changing, so is the family structure. Our tendencies shifted from a traditional family to a nuclear or non-traditional one in just a few decades, and it was clearly reflected in shows like Grey's Anatomy or Modern Family. Another important factor is the geographical shifts. With the constant movement within and between countries, the businesses are sure to be affected. They can also view this as a marketing opportunity, like Zoom. Their tagline shows that physical distance is not a problem, which is a great value to students and the working force. As the world's population became more informed, diversity and inclusivity became hugely appealing to the public. One of the businesses that best utilize this trend is TikTok. They've got everything from race to cultural diversity to TikTokers with disabilities or those from the LGBTQ plus community, and its absolute attentiveness in trend is one of the factors that brought them huge fame and profit. Next is the economic environment. The changes in the economic environment of the last few decades have brought about a new term, value marketing. However, those changes have also expanded the disparity in income levels between the poor and the rich, and so tiered market has also been created, becoming a new target for many businesses. For example, cars companies like Toyota have offering cars with a greatly ranged price, appealing to a good variety of customers. While changes in the major economic variables can only be forecasted and not prevented, with adequate warning, businesses can take advantage of the changes instead of getting caught up in the economic storm.
Let's move on to the third objective, which is the natural and technological environments. The natural environment involves physical environments and natural resources that are needed as inputs by marketers or affected by marketing activities, such as weather conditions or natural disaster. For example, continuous rain leads to waterlogging and causes the death of plants, which reduces the quality of fruits collected, and the farmer suffers huge losses as a consequence. Now, as the unexpected things happen naturally, it is impossible to prevent them. However, companies and businesses should be prepared to deal with them. The farmers in the previous example can set up a specific place to store rainfall water or develop methods to allow the water to flow through and thus save the plants. There are three trends in the natural environment: shortage of raw materials, increased pollution, and increased government intervention. Marketers should always be aware of a lack of materials, even if it seems infinite. For instance, air and water are known as renewable resources, but water shortages are already present due to many reasons. So, resources must all be used wisely. The second trend states that industry will virtually always do harm to the environment, regardless of sustainability concerns. Think about a factory's waste released into the environment. It may consist of toxic chemical substances or the plastic products, which take millions of years to decompose. The last trend is about the government making efforts to promote a clean environment. This varies widely based on different concerns. As people are becoming more and more aware of contamination, enlightened companies are developing strategies to ensure environmental sustainability. It is meeting the present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. Many businesses are going green with environmentally friendly products. Here, let's take the example of the repair and reuse program by Uniqlo. They collect the brand down garments and transform them into new products. Used clothes are also distributed to refugees and disaster victims. The next part of this operative is technological environment. It is the most dramatic force of a company due to the new market and opportunities that are brought by. However, the rapid change and development of technology means that every new technology replaces its older one, so marketers should watch this environment closely in order not to miss any opportunity.
Now we come to the next part, which is the political, social, and cultural environments. Marketing decisions are strongly affected by developments in the political environment. The political environment consists of laws, government agencies, and pressure groups that influence or limit organizations and individuals in a given society. Able to encourage fair competition, governments develop public policies as a guideline for commerce, sets of laws and regulations that limit business for the good of society as a whole. Business legislation exists to protect companies from one another. Although business executives may praise competition, they tend to try and neutralize it when it threatens them, leading to unfair competition. Consumers from unfair business practices. Some firms, if left alone, would make bad quality products, invade consumer privacy, create misleading advertisements, and deceive consumers through their packaging and pricing. And lastly, the interests of society against unrestrained business behavior. Profitable business activity does not always create a better quality of life. Regulation ensures that firms take responsibility for the social costs of their production or products. But in reality, written regulations cannot possibly cover all potential marketing abuses, and existing laws are often difficult to enforce. That's why, beyond written laws and regulations, business is also governed by social codes and rules of professional ethics. Enlightened companies encourage their managers to look beyond what the regulatory system allows and simply do the right thing. This is known as socially responsible behavior. Another method for companies to express responsibility and have a more positive image is to tie themselves to some sort of cost-related mission, enabled to protect the long-run interests of consumers and our environment. Now, for cultural environment. The cultural environment consists of institutions and other forces that affect a society's basic values, perceptions, and behaviors. Some cultural characteristics. No. Now, for cultural environment. The cultural environment consists of institutions and other forces that affect a society's basic values, perceptions, and behaviors. Some cultural characteristics can affect marketing decision making. People grow up in a particular society that shapes their basic beliefs and values. They absorb a viewpoint that defines their relationship with others. Therefore, they hold a number of beliefs and values. Core beliefs and values are persistent and are passed on from parent to children, and are reinforced by schools, churches, businesses, and the government. But on the other hand, secondary beliefs and values are more often open to change, such as people's view of themselves, like people using their products, brands, and services as a means of self-expression, but buy products that match their views of others, of organizations, of society, of nature, or of the universe.
Responding to the marketing environment. Often, many companies are dependent on environment. That means they analyze the environmental forces and decide strategies to avoid threats and explore advantages the environment provides. They believe that the marketing environment is an uncontrollable and unchangeable element. However, companies do not accept this belief and they develop strategies to change the environment. We call them taking proactive stand towards the marketing environment. By this, companies may create a shared new industry affecting the customer life. We can mention to Apple, iPad, iPhone, Google search engine. More empowered, they can take aggressive action to affect the public and dominate the media, even keep the competitor in life and form contractual agreements to better control their distribution channels. For example, recently, the product Hotpot of Family Mart Vietnam got a response from one customer about having the lever in the hotpot. This information made those having eaten this product extremely nervous. Immediately, Family Mart stopped selling hotpot in a few days and checked the complaint by verifying the product through an independent third party. The result is that there is a lever in the sample. It is just one part inside the chili seed. Then Family Mart quickly showed the evidence on the Facebook fan page and stated that it officially sell Hotpot on store. This timely action helped save the reputation of Family Mart and build more trust to the customer. But it is not always possible to control environmental forces. At that time, a creative approach to the marketing environment is necessary because of some factors that companies cannot adjust, such as the economic environment or cultural values. To sum up, when possible, taking proactive steps toward the marketing environment is better than a reactive one.
Now we have reached chapter 4, Managing Marketing Information to Gain Customer Insights. In this chapter, we have 5 objectives. The first one is marketing information and customer insights. Second is assessing information needs and developing data. The third one, marketing research. Fourth one, analyzing and using marketing information. And last but not least, other marketing information considerations. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the first objective.
To begin this chapter, I would like to tell you a story of a well-known Italian chocolate brand, Ferrero. So Ferrero is known for their high-quality, top-notch chocolate, and its manufactures only in places where consistency delivered and secure retail supply chain are guaranteed. But when it first entered the Indian market, the market which is super sensitive to price, which means customers tend to favor low-priced products. Ferrero still successfully garners 6% share in the chocolate and market and turned the India into its central market in Asian region. So how did they do that? Um, the answer lies in the company's ability to manage and marketing information and gain customer insights. So what do I mean by managing marketing information and gaining customer insights? Let's find out in this first objective. So marketing is defined as creating customer and engaging them and building a profitable relationship with them in long run. And in order to win customers' hearts over their competitors, marketers need to understand their customer needs and wants, and even more than that. And they get all the information they need from innumerable technology sources. However, along with benefits from that endless amount of information, marketing managers can sometimes face the feeling of being overwhelmed and overloaded. And it can be summed up in the concept of big data. For example, Amazon collected data about purchases done by millions of people around the world, and they analyzed the purchase patterns and payment methods used by customers and used the result to design new offers and advertisement. Netflix and YouTube always apply big data to attract and engage customers to watch their contents. And drowning in the giant pool of big data, the key task lies in how to use information effectively. Some piece of information can be deciphered into many different meanings, but the result in which company can take advantages to gain deep understanding in the customer's needs and wants and marketplace is called customer insights. And customers insights is like little secrets hidden beneath the surface, deep down in customer intuition. And should that's why marketers should pay attention and consider them thoroughly. This is an answer to our first study case, Ferraro, an Indian market. Ferraro has successfully found out about its customers' insight. The fact that Indians are open to buying expensive products and even have a tendency to buy more, mostly in festive season. Knowing that crucial key, they only need to boost their production in festive season without decreasing its initial standards. Vinamilk also understand the inside of every mother is to want their kids to grow healthily with outstanding height and never have to face rickets. X-Men's, a male detergent brand, has found out their customer insight is not only to smell good, but always become an authentic man. company like PepsiCo also have a team to extract and use the big data, and people and procedures dedicated to assessing information needs, developing needed information, and helping decision makers is called Marketing Information System, MIS. For example, many retail stores provide their clients with loyalty cards, or they offer opportunity to create customers' profiles in their online store. And both loyalty cards and online profiles help business collect data about their clients. And they keep track of their purchases behavior, the sum of money spent on purchases, the level of engagement, items viewed, etc. With this data, they manage their pricing policy and create better marketing campaigns and come up with the relevant offers in the best place at the right time.
Our second objective of today is assessing information needs and developing data. So the marketing information primarily serves the company's marketing and managers. However, it can also provide data for external partners such as suppliers or resellers. A good information system should balance the information customers would like to have against what they really need and what is feasible to offer. Too much information can be harmful as too little. There are three ways that marketers can obtain information, which are internal data, marketing intelligence, and marketing research. Many companies build and keep extensive internal databases. Different types of data are recorded in the specialized departments. Internal database can be accessed quickly and cheaply. However, the degree of accuracy may be low and data also age very fast. Also, managing such a vast amount of information requires sophisticated and complicated technologies which might be costly to the organization. Next, we have the term competitive marketing intelligence. It is the systematic monitoring, collection, and analysis of publicly available information about consumers, competitors, and developments in a marketing environment. The goal of this is to improve strategic decision making by understanding customer environment, tracking competitors' actions, and providing early warnings of opportunities and threats. There is always a need for companies to actively monitor competitors' activities to see what turns up and prepare for better performance. They can monitor competitors' web or social media sites, track consumers' conversation about their own brand, or even between competing brands. With the increasing use of marketing intelligence, ethical issues arise. However, the company should use legitimate sources available and need not violate the law.
What does Starbucks needs to do if they want to know how customer would react to their new item on menu, or Samsung to know how many and what kinds of people would buy its next ultra-thin television? In such situation, managers will need marketing research, the systematic design, collection, analysis, and reporting of data relevant to specific marketing situation facing an organization. And as you can see on screen right now, there are 4 steps in marketing research process, and we will go right in the first step. In the first step, marketing managers and researchers must work together to define the problem and agree on which research objectives they will use. And this is also the hardest step out of 4, because the manager may know that something is wrong without knowing the specific causes. And after successfully defining the problems, the researcher and managers must now decide on the research objectives. And as you can see in the graph, there are 3 research methods and their purposes. And after the first step, here comes the second one, developing the research plan. The research plan reports in detailed sources of existing data and spell out the specific research approaches, contact methods, sampling plans, and instruments that researcher will use to gather new data. There are 2 types of data: primary data, as you can see on the left, and secondary data, as you can see on the right. And besides the primary data, you can see there are some sources in which you can collect them, like through surveys, polls, interview. And on the right side, secondary data can be collected by all forms of reports and on the internet.
Continuing the development of the research plan, we move to the collecting data step. First is secondary data collection with various sources offering from fee to free. However, the researchers must assess the secondary data carefully to make sure that it's relevant, accurate, current, and impartial. Why? Taking the definition of marketing as an example, clearly, marketing is defined differently depending on the development of the economy. Some sources will update the new one, but others won't. Therefore, the numerous results found in search engines, researchers must be conscious and collect the relevant, accurate, current, and impartial information. After secondary data, primary data is important in most cases when it provides specific data to clean customer insight effectively and practically. There are 3 main methods of research approaches: observation, surveys, and experiment. All through contact method, there are also various ways from mail, telephone, and personal interviewing. It is totally impossible to collect data from the whole population, so marketers usually draw conclusions about large groups of consumers based on the small representative sample, and sampling plan is the term I want to mention. In addition to supporting the research process, questionnaire and mechanical devices are frequently used as research instruments. For example, conducting surveys at the point such as supermarkets, local market, or food store is the most popular method that most edible products brands choose. They usually appear with a list of questionnaires, random asking customers to fill the survey. To increase the interaction and attract some people to the survey, the brands might give gifts for those who join them. As we always mention, customer-centered marketing is more and more important. By this, customer service is carried out more effectively. FPT shops, after using its service, customer will receive a phone call from FPT customer service to ask about our experience with its product and whether we are satisfied with them or even the attitude of the staff who serve us. That is telephone contact to get information. Similarly, managing marketing effort. After developing the plan, we move to the implementation. In this case, that is implementing the marketing research plan. Gathering, processing, and analyzing the data are what companies must conduct to separate important data and insight, then code them for analysis. Table or any types of statistical measure are created in this step. Now let's go for the final step of marketing research. Interpreting and reporting the findings. The market researchers must interpret the useful data or the insight collected for the managers. Based on this, managers can make suitable decisions or recommendations for the business. Once again, harmonious cooperation is one of the key elements for a success of the business. Therefore, both managers and researchers should share the responsibility for the research process and resulting decisions.
Information gathered from various sources usually requires additional analysis in order to help marketers gain more insights about customers and make better decisions. But how to compile data from the vast number of touchpoints in this digital era? The answer is CRM, short for Customer Relationship Management. CRM consists of sophisticated software and analysis tools from different companies that gather and analyze customer data from all sources, then apply the results to strengthen customer relationships. By using CRM to understand customers better, companies can provide higher levels of customer service and develop deeper customer relationships. In the first part of this chapter, we've talked about the concept of big data. It can provide great results, but not on its own. In order to polish the raw gem that is big data and make it shine, we need to have tools as well as the polishing process. In the marketing world, those tools are called marketing analytics. Let's put it in an example. The thing you could call an AI making predictions and sorting users' preferences on Netflix or YouTube is exactly the marketing analytics. Easier to understand now, right? However, it doesn't come without a cost. It's easy to think of CRM as merely a technological process or assume that the analyzed data is the big picture itself. Strong customer relationships can't just rely on technology only. SER? In CRM, that matters the most. So marketers should make sure to stick to the principles before going high-tech. Even after processing, marketing information has little value until it is actually put into use. Thus, the MIS must make sure the information is available to anyone in the company who needs it via the intranets and extranets, be it a manager or the customer service department. This sometimes means providing regular reports and updates, and in other times, making non-routine information available for any on-the-spot situations. Thanks to modern technology, though, managers can now extract information virtually anytime, anywhere.
Now we have come to the last part of this chapter, which is other marketing information considerations. Like larger firms, small businesses and nonprofit organizations need market information and the customer insights that it can provide. Albeit small, many of the marketing research techniques can still be used by smaller organizations in a less formal manner and at little or no expenses. They can obtain good marketing insights through observations or informal surveys using small convenient samples. Also, many associations, local media, and government agencies provide special help to small organizations. About international market research. International researchers follow the same steps as domestic researchers, from defining the research problem and developing a research plan to interpreting and reporting the results. However, these researchers often face more and different problems. Whereas domestic researchers deal with fairly uniform markets within a single country, international researchers deal with diverse markets in many different countries. These markets often vary greatly in their level of economic development, cultures, customs, and buying patterns. In many foreign markets, international researchers have a difficult time finding good secondary data, whereas in big countries, their marketing researchers can obtain reliable secondary data from dozens of domestic research services. Many countries have almost no research service at all. Data that are collected internationally might face problems like cultural differences, language barrier, or consumers' attitudes towards marketing research in different regions. Most marketing research benefits both the sponsoring company and its consumers, in that it results in more satisfying products and services and strong customer relationships. However, the misuse of marketing research can also harm or annoy customers. Two major public policies and ethics issues in marketing research are intrusion on consumer privacy and the misuse of research findings. Let's talk about the first one, which is intrusions on consumer privacy. Many consumers feel positive about marketing research and believe that it serves a useful purpose. Some actually enjoy being interviewed and giving their opinions. However, others strongly resent or even mistrust marketing research. They don't like being interrupted by researchers in fear of getting their privacy invaded. When mining customer information, marketers must be careful not to cross over the privacy line. But there are no easy answers when it comes to marketing research and privacy. Increasing consumers' privacy concerns have become a major problem for the marketing research industry. In the end, however, if researchers provide value in exchange for information, customers will get it provided. The best approach is for researchers to ask only for the information they need, Use it responsibly to provide customer value and avoid sharing information without the consumer's permission. Let's talk about the second one, which is misuse of research findings. Research studies can be powerful persuasion tools in terms of becoming claims in advertising and promotion. However, many research studies appear to be little more than vehicles for pitching the sponsor's products. Few advertisers openly rig their research designs or publicly misinterpret their findings. Most abuses tend to be more subtle and hard to detect. All controversies arise over the validity, interpretation, and use of research findings. Almost any research results can be variously interpreted, depending on the researcher's bias and viewpoints. In the end, however, unethical or inappropriate actions cannot simply be regulated anyway. Each company must accept responsibility for policing their conduct and reporting of its own marketing research to protect consumers' best interests as well as its own. And that is all for our presentation today. We hope you had a great time. See you all next time.